What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've decided to start a new series called the Colorado MnM series. MnM stands for Maintenance and Modifications. Now in this episode of Revolution Projects, I'm going to show you guys how to change out your radiator and also the coolant and also the radiator hoses as well. So I have here with me the two new radiator hoses as well as all of the clamps that need to go along with it. I have some new coolant. I don't think this is going to be quite enough to actually mix enough, so I probably will have to get some more. And my new radiator. So I've discovered that I've recently got a little bit of a leak coming from the radiator region. I haven't quite pinpointed it yet, but I figured the car has around about 240,000 kilometers on the clock. I do believe this is coming from one of the hoses, whether top or bottom. There's sort of just coolant all over the place at the moment. But with 240,000 kilometers on the clock, I thought it's about time I get in and change out the hoses and the radiator. I did recently change the coolant at 200,000 Ks, so it's still pretty good, but I've lost a fair bit of coolant, so it's time to put some new stuff in. Let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to be doing is removing this bash plate that's right here. We've got two bolts. We've got one on either end here, and there's also another one up underneath here on each side. So we're just going to remove that bash plate first, then we're going to undo this hose clamp that's right here, and we're going to drop all this water. Yeah, so basically the trick is that you're meant to undo that little bung till there's a little hole here that gets released. Then you take the radiator cap off just to push that down. Don't undo the bung like I just did. I had a feeling that I was meant to just release it a little bit, but yeah, I took the whole thing out and made a mess. So avoid that if you can. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, now that I have dropped all of the water out of the bottom, I'm just going to remove a few things here. Just take this hose line out the way, take the cap off. I'll probably take this piping here and the air box out of the way, just so I've got a little bit more room to move here. I will have to remove this fan shroud. Now this fan shroud goes all the way around the fan, so I'm just going to have to move it forward, and then I can take the radiator out after undoing these here. So I'm just going to undo this, and I think there is maybe one at the bottom, but we've got two little notches. You guys might not see it, but there's little locators just down in here, one on either side, and I'll show you on the new radiator when I go to install it. Okay, so I have removed most of the air box here and just the intake pipe that goes down to the turbo, just down here. So as you can see, I've just got like a little bit more room now. I just got to move this wiring out the way, and now just going to pull this guy off and put it up out of the way for now. And now I'm going to undo both of these radiator hoses and just move a few extra bits and pieces out of the way, and I'll get stuck into pulling this fan shroud off. Alright guys, so I'm underneath the car now, and I've got this plastic shroud here. You can see the fan, there's a sway bar here. Now this plastic shroud, there's just like a bottom half to it. So all you got to do is just press that in, and it just clicks out, and it looks like that side's already coming out. So I just got to find the other one on this side here, this side, and that should just click out. I'm going to have to use two hands for this. I'm going to put the camera down and I'll get into it. Okay, so bottom half of the shroud has been taken out. So now it should just be a matter of lifting this radiator straight up and out. Just don't forget to undo this little clip here. It just clips over the wiring. It's pretty simple. It just clips into a little groove. Just use a little screwdriver just to pry that open, and out comes the wiring loom. Well, this is the old radiator, and it's not too bad actually. The core is pretty good, but I think I know where it might have been leaking from. Could just simply be the join between the core and this top section here as well. I mean, it is so gunked up. Not 100% sure exactly. Just going to check the inside. It's all reasonably in pretty good condition actually, but yeah, either way, time to replace it. And what I'll have to do is just remove this shroud off of here. Looks like there's just a couple of clips again, and clip it onto the new one. Let's have a look at the new one. Now this radiator is actually a universal radiator. It has for automatic and manual transmissions. So it does have all of these cooling lines here for the automatic. Mine is a manual, so I don't need to actually use these, and I can just keep these blocked off. I can keep them on there. It's no big deal really. So what I'll have to do now, this looks really good. Too bad I'm not a music player like Moo from Mighty Carmel, so just... No, there's no sound effect. Okay, cool, let's move it on. I'm going to change over the shroud here from this radiator, and let's just have a quick look at the difference of them. Very new, very old, so this probably does have the 240,000 kilometers on it, and this one is brand new. So it is a direct replacement one. It makes things a lot easier. I think this here was only, I think it was $145, so it's pretty cheap just to replace and go from there. Let's do it. Alright, just cut this little guy off if you want. You don't have to, but I'm going to, because I'm going to remove it. Now that this has all been cleaned up, there is no more coolant residue all over this. I am going to clip this back into the new radiator. Just like so. These, I've got these little rubber pieces here. Now these come off of the old radiator. They may be stuck on your radiator like mine were, or they may still be inside your chassis there where it actually lines up. So just make sure that you install both of these guys back down into their allocated slots. That'll just help locate that radiator and let it sit in there nicely. Okay. Now that I have put everything back where it's meant to be, like those little locators there, I have the shroud now back on the radiator. It is time to install the radiator back into the car, or the new radiator into the car. One thing that you will want to be mindful of when installing the radiator is not to damage the fins. That's going to allow the air to flow through nice and smoothly, and just help keep all that water cool. So don't damage the fins. You definitely don't want to be punching anything through the core of this as well. That's pretty much it. Just be careful when you're installing the radiator. Oh, that is looking good. I can't wait to finish this this install. But it is looking good. So now I just got to just going to put this little bracket on here just to help keep that in place. Just install this here, and the new radiator hoses, which I have here, and that's pretty much it, and just put all the rest of this stuff back in. Let's get to it. Okay, now that we have the new radiator installed, top and bottom hoses are now clamped up tight. We have the underneath of the fan shroud clipped back in, and I've now installed everything back into the engine bay as it was before. The final thing to do is now just to top this back up with water and also your coolant. So one of the things that you've got to be careful of and be mindful of is that you will have air in the system. You want to make sure that you're going to get all of this air out of the system when the water is going in, because you don't want an airlock to happen. That can actually cause many problems like overheating and then blow up your engine, etc. I'm being dramatic, but it actually does happen. Just be mindful. So what we're going to do is I have this special little tool here. I can't remember what the thing is, what they call it exactly. Basically, just clips into your radiator, and then you use this, you fill it up from here. What this is going to do is it's going to create a higher point for the air throughout the engine and your heater core and radiator to travel, meaning that you're not going to have air caught in your engine or in your radiator or anywhere. It's going to have to travel all through here because this is now a higher point for air to travel out of. If I filled up the radiator and the higher point was back at the engine, the back of the engine, then that means that there's possibly going to be an airlock at the back of the engine. We don't want that. This is going to help prevent that. So now we're just going to start topping this up and fill it up as much as we can. We're going to start the car. I'm going to start pressing on some of the hoses. I'm going to start letting all the water flow through. I want to get this to optimum temperature because I need the thermostat and everything to open up, so that way we're getting the full cycle throughout the engine and the radiator and also the heater core. We're going to put the heat on. I think it already travels through the heater core anyway, but I'm just going to put the heat on, and I'm going to make sure that we're not going to get any airlocks or bubbles in this engine. Okay. Just going to start the car. So now we're just going to wait for this to get to optimum temperature. I'm just going to sort of squeeze some of these hoses around at the moment. That there definitely doesn't feel full yet. You can see how it's bubbling straight up from the center and pushing upwards. That's air coming back out. And you can see this slowly going down. So I'm just going to have to start topping this up. See, it's pretty well ready. All I've got to do now is just take this here off. Yes, it will make a bit of a mess. I will lose all this water. I will lose all this water just here, but we'll make a bit of a mess, but I'm about to take this outside and give it a wash. Okay, so now that the cooling system has finally been all bled through, we've got everything installed back into the car the way it's meant to be. I haven't installed the air filter just yet. I have been waiting for that to dry outside. But in the meantime, I'm going to take this outside and I'm going to give this a wash. I'm going to clean up this engine bay. I'm going to clean the whole car. I haven't put the front bash plate on just yet because it is looking a little bit rusty. I'm going to change over those bolts because they were just rusty as well. So I'm going to get that sandblasted, I'm going to get that repowder coated, and I'm also going to have to drill out one of the bolts because it decided to snap inside the chassis. Yay for me. Yay for me. But after I give this a bit of a wash, I'm going to go enjoy some pizza. And I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you also enjoy the rest of your day. So don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to keep updated with more maintenance and more modification videos for the Colorado. Also, don't forget to check out the 180SX Resto mod build that I'm currently undertaking. Thanks guys, till next time.